Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. After Jesus had been born at Bethlehem in Judea during the reign of King Herod, some wise men came to Jerusalem from the east. "Where is the infant King of the Jews?" they asked. "We saw his star as it rose and have come to do him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was perturbed, and so was the whole of Jerusalem. He called together all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, and inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. "At Bethlehem in Judea," they told him, "for this is what the prophet wrote. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, you are by no means least among the leaders of Judah, for out of you will come a leader who will shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod summoned the wise men to see him privately. He asked them the exact date on which the star had appeared and sent them on to Bethlehem. "Go and find out all about the child," he said. "And when you have found him, let me know, so that I too may go out and do homage to him." Having listened to what the king had to say, they set out. And there in front of them was the star they had seen rising. It went forward and halted over the place where the child was. The sight of the star filled them with delight. And going into the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary. And falling to their knees, they did homage. Then, opening their treasures, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But they were warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, and return to their own country by a different way. This is the gospel of the Lord. Today we are celebrating the feast of the Epiphany. The name itself, Epiphany, is coming from the Greek word. What does Epiphany mean? Epiphany means manifestation, showing. God is showing himself to us, to the world. That is the Epiphany. And the Church, through the interpretation of the Word of God and the Scriptures, has found out 4 main manifestations of Jesus, the Son of God, to the world. And we celebrate the 4 of them in this short period of Christmas, because it is the time when we make New Year resolutions, when we are full of hope to start a new life, to start again, all over again, even in our spiritual life. It is the time when you say, "Yes, I want to do something different this year from the past. I want to find out something new, something exciting." And so this is the time when we come to remember the 4 manifestations that the Son of God has given us. And the first one was on Christmas Day, of course. Christmas Day is the first instance when God was shown to us by his birth in Bethlehem. He was shown to the poor shepherds, to the lowest of all the people of his time, to the poor people in the world. Shepherds were considered to be the lowest caste, the lowest people in society. And so he was shown to them on his birth. But that was only the first time. The second time is we are celebrating it today. Jesus wanted to show himself also to kings, to important people, to VIPs, to intelligent people, to rich people, two important people. These three kings that we remember today are the symbols. It is, some people say it's a legend. It's not a true story. Whatever it is the message that we receive through it. The message that Christ has shown himself to all Gentiles, to all people in the earth, to all creation at that. So not only to Christians, not only to poor people, not only to Catholics, not only to those who believe, but to all his creation. Jesus made manifest himself today to all the world, to all his creation. And so the three kings that we have today, coming from the east, not from the west, where he has already been, but from the very east of the world, to show that he is present in all the world, not only in the west, where we adore him and we know and we believe in him, but also in the east, where there is Buddhism, where there is India, China, Australia, and the rest of the world that we know about in the east, and of course the land of Israel where he was born. The third time that Christ has shown himself to us we'll celebrate it next Sunday, when we celebrate the baptism of Christ. And we celebrate this when Christ has become now an adult and starting his public life. When he went into the queue with other normal people at the River Jordan to be baptized by John the Baptist. That is also another time when God wanted to show his son, his only son. And here, while he is being baptized, we hear the word, this is my son, the beloved son, in whom I have delight. And that's how we also have become the sons of God, and God is delighted in us too. The fourth time that Jesus showed himself in public was for a wedding invitation that he had. And this also has got its meaning. Jesus showed himself when he performed the first miracle of his public life, present and invited by a young couple, and they lacked wine. They had no wine to celebrate the most important day of their life, and Jesus was there to help them. So this also has a meaning, that God not only helps us in our spiritual way, in finding our faith, but also in our material things and desires, because he wants us to enjoy life. And if we lack wine, he provides us with wine too, with material things, so that we enjoy ourselves, we help ourselves, and we live to the full the life that he created us to live here. These are four instances when God made himself present to us, to show it. God was not only happy to show us once in his birth and left us at that. No. He keeps sending us stars in our lives to find him. We too. We need to find God. We need to find Jesus in our life. And we need to find him in the stars that we can see. Which are the stars that we have in our life? It's the different experiences of life that we encounter. Not only the good experiences, but also the not so good experiences, the unpleasant experiences of life. God is present there, and we are to ask, what does God want to tell me with this? And we need to pray, to ponder, as Mary did, to hear an answer, to know the way of God. And the gifts, also the gifts that the kings has brought to Jesus, were the gifts of virtue, prayer, and suffering. Those were the symbols of the three gifts that were given to Jesus. Virtues. We give our life. These are the gifts. When we discover Jesus, we discover joy. We discover hope. We discover happiness, true happiness. And so we need to present also the gifts of our lives to God. The answer that we can give by finding Jesus is to give him our own way of living, our own way of loving, and our way of forgiving. Let's read together this prayer that we have on the screens. Look up, O Jerusalem. Here comes the world, running to walk in your light. We are the sparkling and the dim, the kings and the beggars, the bosses and the slaves. Let your star chase away our dark. Glow and glow.